Okay, so today we're joined by ex-Norwich City and Scotland international. It's the legendary Mr. Bryan Gunn. Welcome to the studio, Bryan.
Thanks for
nice to
having
see
me.
you today. You okay? So, Bryan, what made you want to become a professional footballer?
Well, living in the far north of Scotland wasn't too much else to do apart from play sports. So I played a lot of football, played a lot of golf, had a paper round, so I was really fit. And you know, school football, amateur football, and then you know, I got spotted by Aberdeen when I was 14, and you know, from then on, my dream was to be a professional footballer. Used to go down to Aberdeen in my school holidays and train with the guys down there. And then when I was 16, I was offered a professional contract, so it couldn't have worked out any better.
And had you always wanted to be a goalkeeper?
Not when I was really young. You know, I wanted to be an outfielder striker. You know, everyone wants to be a striker and score the goal, score the winning goal and get all the glory. But as I got older and got taller, I kept sort of moving back from striker to midfield to centre back. And then I suppose, you know, the teachers at school spotted me, the potential there to be a goalkeeper, and kept sticking me in goals. And, you know, it sort of worked out fairly well from there.
You mentioned Aberdeen earlier, and when you were at Aberdeen, I believe you were under Sir Alex Ferguson up there. What was the fondest memory from that time in your career?
He was only Alex Ferguson at the time at Aberdeen. Obviously, Sir Alex came later. But you know, the fact that he signed me, Aberdeen were a force in Scottish football at the time because they just knocked the likes of Rangers and Celtic off the top spots. They were winning lots of cups, and to be part of a squad when I was reserve team or number 2 goalkeeper when I was 17. Made my debut when I was 18. I played 25 games for Aberdeen in total in 6 seasons, and everyone reckons I actually babysat more times for Alex Ferguson's boys. But you know, I suppose the highlight's got to be back in 1983 when you know, there was a great season. Aberdeen got to the final of the European Cup Winners' Cup, beat Real Madrid in the final. In the Levy Stadium in Gothenburg. I was on the bench, and you know, it was the biggest bonus that I'd ever had at the time. I bought myself a Ford Cortina when I came back.
A Ford Cortina?
A Ford Cortina was my first. But that was the highlight. You know, from there, the Aberdeen squad sort of split up then. The likes of Gordon Strachan went to Man United, Mark McGee left to go to Hamburg, Eric Black went to Metz, and then 3 years later I got my transfer to Norwich City.
Right, so when you mentioned Gordon Strachan going to Manchester United, I take it he followed Alex Ferguson down.
Yeah, no, well, Ron Atkinson signed him first. Ron Atkinson signed, I think, Gordon in 1984.
Okay.
And then, you know, I say the squad sort of kept moving on from there. And although Aberdeen kept winning trophies, I moved to Norwich City in October '86. Alex Ferguson moved to Man United in November '86, and one of my second games for Norwich was against Man United at Carrow Road.
How ironic.
Ironic, and we drew 0-0. I was the man of the match, got the champagne, and Mr. Ferguson wasn't too impressed.
Now, you've mentioned a few already, Bryan, but what's the greatest game you've ever played in?
Well, 477 games for Norwich, and I must have played 476 good ones because I let this dodgy goal in against Ipswich once, and everyone keeps mentioning that. But you know, the highlights got to be beating Bayern Munich in the Olympic Stadium in Germany. It was the first leg. We went over there. No other British club had won in the Olympic Stadium at that time, and we went in the lead after the first 20 minutes. We scored 2 goals through Mark Bowen and Jerry Goss, and they scored just before half-time, but we managed to hold on. And you know, to this day, we're still the only British club to have won in the Olympic Stadium. Obviously, they've closed it down now. It's no longer a football stadium, but just to be part of that history, and all Norwich City fans remember that great European run as well. So I think that's got to be the best memory of my time at Norwich.
So you made appearances for Scotland at international level. What's the fondest memory of that time in your career? I
mean, I played 6 times, probably on the bench 66 times. So I came up against the likes of Jim Leighton and Andy Gorham, same era as them. So spent a lot of my time on the bench there. But you know, I played against Holland. I played against Italy in the Olympic Stadium in Rome. Although we got beat 3-1, you know, we had them hanging on to the last minute. I suppose my best memory of that game was swapping ponytails with Roberto Baggio. At that time, I'd long flowing locks. I didn't go for his shirt or anything like that. I went for his ponytail.
What was his reaction to that? I mean,
it was a bit strange. It was a bit strange.
I've never asked anyone to borrow their ponytail. Like, you know,
well, it was a bit strange, but I think he noticed at the time that I had the long flowing hair as well, and he was quite happy to swap it. So I got the goalkeeper's jersey and Roberto Baggio's ponytail.
Well, you've given us a few names already, but who's the best player you've ever played with or against?
Very difficult question, but there's been some great players over the years. I played against the likes of Ian Rush, Liverpool, great goal scorer. Gary Lineker, again, great goal scorer. And then came up against Dennis Bergkamp when we played our European games. He played for Inter Milan and scored both goals that knocked us out of the competition. So I'd have to put those three up there on an even keel.
And who wouldn't you fancy being up against today?
Good question, good question. There was a guy called Billy Whitehurst who played for Oxford United, and he was like 6'5" and he was 6'5" wide, and he used to go about knocking goalkeepers into the back of the net. And that was my first sort of experience of English football back in 1986. I believe he's a publican in Sheffield now, and he's still sort of fairly big. Right. But it's somebody I wouldn't recommend to stand in his way if he's charging at you.
Talking of great players, in your opinion, who is the best goalkeeper of all time? Well,
I mean, I like the Buffon, Italian goalkeeper. I like Casillas, the Spanish goalkeeper. I've been fortunate to play against the likes of Ray Clements and Peter Shilton, and
fantastic keeper in his day, yeah.
Bruce Grobbelaar and Neville Southall as well.
Big Nev. Obviously, I was going to mention Everton somewhere. And there you go, Brian.
And I suppose the other one as well, Walter Zenga, Inter Milan. He was Inter Milan goalkeeper when we played against him. He was also Italian national goalkeeper, and again, those are the type of guys that slightly older than me and ones I respected when I was learning my trade and playing.
Now, as a real football manager, which formation do you prefer?
I'd rather go for the attacking. That would be my own terms of looking at it.
As a goalkeeper?
As a goalkeeper, it's very strange, but even in our best era at Norwich City, we were winning games 4-3, 3-2. Really good attacking football. Obviously, you open yourself up at the back as well, but that's when you hope that your goalkeeper or your defence are going to come out on top.
Okay, so in your Futera World Football team, if you could choose one goalkeeper, one defender, one midfielder and one striker, who would you choose?
Okay, goalkeeper has to be who I feel helped win his team the World Cup this year, Iker Casillas. The saves he made in the final, the saves he made in the semi-final, got his team through to the to win the trophy. Defender's got to be Vidic. He's a tremendous player for Man United. He throws his body on the line, puts his head in the way of shots, his body in the way of shots, and somebody as a goalkeeper I'd love to have in front of me.
Midfielders?
I'll have to go for Steven Gerrard.
Right,
Stevie Gerrard, because I think a midfielder that can score goals has got to be important in any team, and obviously Stevie scored many goals for Liverpool. And then up front, although he didn't have a great World Cup, Wayne Rooney will have to be the striker, because I know that Alex Ferguson will be hoping that he can get him back to playing the level of football he was before he went there, scoring the goals, and he just loves football, he just loves playing football, and he just loves winning trophies. So that's my four choices.
Thank you so much for your time today, Brian. Hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
I have.
That's it for now.
Bryan Gunn, everyone.
Thank you.